3 deaths in 3 days. An absolute tragedy. G'day and welcome to another Mongrel Dog production, and welcome to Mount Augustus in remote Outback Western Australia. This 9-day trip is all about seeking out ancient landscapes, and for the 30 blokes from Perth Adventure Riders, an opportunity to clear their head after what's been a long and difficult period. Anyway, grab your gear. Let's go.
An easy task to do. Mike's been on. Mike's our lead rider. Put your hand up, Mike, for those who don't know him. Mike's our lead rider. No matter who they are, but they remain your buddy just to see who they are.
Well, we're currently at Geraldton, which is 400 kilometres north of Perth. This is a group ride, 30 riders from Perth Adventure Riders. About a 9-day turnaround by the time we get back to this point. Just did a head count. Everybody's allocated a number, 1 through to 30, to try and help account for people at the end of the day, each day. So yeah, 100 kilometres of bitumen from here, and then we start hitting the gravel, and it'll be predominantly gravel for the next number of days, a couple of thousand kilometres. Well, that didn't take long. There's the first casualty. Within the first hour hitting the dirt, yeah, some bloke had an off, hit a bit of soft stuff. He's okay, but that's why they brought the support vehicles in case of breakdowns and accidents. Well, this is the morning of day 2. We've last night we stayed at Murchison Roadhouse, or Murchison Oasis. They put on a feed for us. Yeah, the conditions were pretty good there. Access to hot water and showers. Yeah, we've left there this morning. The rider who come off yesterday, he's decided to ride shotgun in one of the support vehicles today. He's not feeling 100%, so yeah, he'll ride shotgun. His bike is on the back of one of the trailers. Today is not a difficult day. We end up at Mount Augustus this evening. Right, morning of day 3. We're at Mount Augustus. We got here last night. Yesterday was pretty seamless, although we had to cover 430 kilometres, and some of the blokes with smaller tanks had some fuel management issues. The support vehicles have spare fuel, but somehow we still managed to run a couple of bikes out. So I'm not quite sure how they overgot that, but or overcame that. But yeah, anyway, nobody was left behind. We also had a chain break, although I believe it was the master link that failed, so he was late getting in. So yeah, Mount Augustus last night. Mount Augustus itself is pretty unique. It's larger than Uluru or Ayers Rock, although in the case of Mount Augustus it's a bit like an iceberg. Most of it is below ground, so it doesn't have the same appearance as Uluru. Today should be fairly easy, about 350 kilometres I think, and we're going to be staying at a farm stay, Cheela Station. So yeah, fairly good facilities there from what I'm told. Today we're on Dooley Downs Road. This should be the best day on the road, I think. Fairly interesting road and track conditions. Dust is going to be a real issue today, especially while it's still. It's very dry. Yesterday we experienced 35 degree temperatures, 35 degrees Celsius, so you know, about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, hot dry work at the moment, and it's only our springtime here, so yeah, you wouldn't want to be out here midsummer. I forgot to mention that bloke who crashed on the first day, he actually broke one of his foot pegs. So that must have been a pretty heavy fall. We're hoping that we'll be able to engineer something at Cheela Station this evening, in the hope that he can continue riding the bike for the rest of the journey. Like another candidate for one of the trailers. KTM's developed a fuel leak, a bad fuel leak. Well, update for day 4. We've just entered the Karajini National Park. I can just see the rooftops of the Eco Village where we're staying tonight. Last night we stayed at the Cheela farm stay. They provided a feed for us and topped us up with a few litres of fuel each to make sure we could get the top price. All the bikes are on the road. The bloke who had that off on the first day, he snapped the foot peg. They nicked one off an old farm bike from Cheela Station, so his bike's back on the road. And the KTM that had that fuel leak, that was fixed roadside, so yeah, all the riders and bikes are on the road. So yeah, we stay here tonight, Karajini. We'll have the afternoon to go and have a look around at some of the gorges. Probably a late start tomorrow, and then essentially it's rinse and repeat, but in the reverse order. From here, Cheela Station, then Mount Augustus, then Murchison Settlement, and head towards home. Well, we're leaving Cheela Plains Farmstay for the second time on this journey. We're now southbound, heading for home. The last 24 hours was all about exploring the Karajini National Park, going through a number of the gorges, bit of bushwalking. We're down one rider, that bloke who hurt himself on the first day. He's retired hurt. He flew out late yesterday afternoon or earlier this morning, and we've got his bike on board one of the support vehicles. So yeah, later on today we'll be at Mount Augustus, and a day closer to home, I guess. Right, we're about to pull into the Mount Augustus Tourist Park. That's Mount Augustus to our front there. Today's Thursday. We left here on Monday morning for our forward journey, and in that brief time, 3 people have perished while trying to climb the walk trail to the summit of Mount Augustus. People are just going to have to realise that they need to have a very, very healthy respect for the Australian outback, because if they don't, it could end up costing them their life. Well, I'm leaving the group, I'm peeling off. I've said my farewells and goodbyes. They've still got about a 3-day ride ahead of them to get to Perth. Me, I'm peeling off now and meeting a bloke later on today, another adventure rider from Perth, Shane, and he and I are going to scope out a possible location for a motorcycle rally to be held next year. So yeah, we've still got a bit of a ride ahead of us. We'll probably be on the road now for another 4 or 5 days ourselves. So yeah, 400 kilometre ride to the Blacktop, to the bitumen, and I'll link up with Shane there around noon today. well, this can't be good. I'm halfway to the blacktop to meet Shane, and I've developed a slow leak. This tyre has copped a real caning in the last couple of thousand kilometres. The conditions have been pretty harsh. So I'll stick some air in it in the hope that I can find the leak and patch it. Found it. Right there. Hopefully I'll be able to patch it, I think. Well, that ain't good. Second puncture. I can hear the leak this time, so it's obviously a bigger hole. Anyway, unless another routine. It's got holes everywhere. I'll be lucky to get off this road, I think. Is this why they call it adventure riding? I'm in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. I had one puncture an hour ago. I repaired that, and I had another puncture, so I pulled over, and I've exhausted all my plugs. The rear tyre is like a sieve. It's got more holes in it than a bloody colander. But anyway, that aside, by coincidence, I spoke to Shane, who I was going to meet 100 kilometres up the road. I spoke to him a couple of days ago and I said, Shane, bring up a tyre with you because this one ain't going to last the distance. So by coincidence, I've had Telstra reception, so I've rung him. He's an hour away. We'll swap the tyre out and we'll be on our way, I hope. Watch this space. Not all heroes wear capes, folks. Not all heroes wear capes. Meet Shane.
Uber tyres.
Righto, it's just after 3 p.m, so I pulled over at around 11 for the puncture. So we've lost 4 hours, but that's okay, that's okay. We'll be able to make that time up with an early start on a couple of the mornings, if that's what it takes. So lessons learned. Look, I think in the overall scheme of things, did everything right. I thought that tyre would have lasted the journey. I mean, nobody's rightfully going to leave home with dodgy gear, so I thought that tyre would have lasted. It was clear within a few days that wasn't going to be the case. So yeah, I rang Shane, gave him a couple of days notice, and he was able to bring a tyre up with me. I had all the right tools. I think I had trouble breaking the bead with the Motion Pro bead breakers, so I tried to use the side stand. I've successfully done that before. Then when it came time to seal the bead, yeah, we tried all sorts of different options, none of which worked, and in the end Shane was able to get the local farmer to seal it pretty quickly, so a good outcome. Had that not been possible, if I was out there by myself and totally screwed, then I do have a tube, and I've done that before, fitted a tube to a tubeless tyre, and that will always, of course, get you out of trouble. So yeah, unfortunate circumstances, but the outcome was positive in the end. So anyway, sit back, enjoy the flight, and out to Coomarina for fuel, and then up to Newman where we're staying this evening. Well, morning of day 8. This is where the real adventure begins. Shane and I have had to squeeze every drop of fuel into the bikes and bladders and the like. We're both carrying in excess of 50 litres combined, each of us. We've got a turnaround of about 800 kilometres now, We're going to a place called Georgia Bore to decide on its suitability for a motorcycle rally next year, Desert Raid. We think it'll be good, we think it'll be okay. It ticks a lot of the boxes, certainly challenging. Several hundred kilometres of unsealed road, and a number of ways to get there, north, south, east or west, depending on how hard you want to make it for yourself. And the reason we need so much fuel range is there are a couple of Aboriginal communities out there where ordinarily you could top up with fuel. They're off limits at the moment due to COVID, so yeah, we've had to pack a lot of fuel with us. My bike looks like a bag of washing, got bladders and drums hanging off everywhere. Shane is a bit more organised, a bit more orderly. So yeah, we should get there by mid-afternoon today. We'll scope it out for an hour or so and then start making our way back.
Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
Alright, update. Day 9. In the army we used to have a saying, time spent doing reconnaissance is time well spent, and I think that holds true for this particular trip. We never got to Georgia Bore yesterday. I got within about 10 kilometres, went through a heavy patch of sand and decided to wait for Shane. He was a no-show, so I went back some distance, and he was parked up on the side of the road. Shane's a very good rider, very competent, but he had a couple of oh shit moments, and he's carrying a couple of injuries, and he decided, you know what, it just ain't worth it, and I respect that. It's one of the reasons I enjoy riding with Shane, because like a lot of us, he knows his limits, and there's no shame in that, certainly. So it was worthwhile coming out here, but I think the risk of somebody coming off in the sand that I went through is too great, and if somebody hurts themselves out here, they're screwed. So I think Georgia Bore will not be suitable for next year's Desert Raid, but that's alright. We've got enough reaction time. We'll go and have a look at some other venues and see what we come up with. Anyway, we'll start heading back to Newman and then start making our way southwards towards home. This is day 11. This will be our last bush camp, last day on this trip. We'll be back home in Perth this evening. Got about 400 kilometres of good gravel and about 100 kilometres or so of bitumen. Since I left the Perth Adventure Rider group, I did find out yesterday or the day before that one of the riders, Neil, had a major accident and hit a kangaroo at speed, and he was medevaced back to Perth by air with some very serious internal injuries. He's had a couple of surgeries since, so I wish Neil a speedy and complete recovery. And I guess it's just a reminder that, you know, we're all vulnerable and it could happen to any one of us at any time. So yeah, they're all pretty fragile at times. Anyway, yeah, we'll be home this evening, so I guess we'll see you on the other side.